Good morning, gang. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here in Florida. Today, I want to talk about how I went from zero to $20,000 a month in 4 months selling on Amazon. So we're just gonna go over what kind of got me into Amazon again, because this is my third time. I'll talk more about that. What kind of what I've started selling, what I am still selling currently, and the future plans for this business. And you can implement everything that I say. Some things, I did have a little bit of a lucky connection as I start this story, but at the end of the day, you can figure out how to make this work. And just because I started with a connection of sorts doesn't mean I still have that connection, because that supply is actually about to run out. And so as I talk about this, I will explain other ways that you can source what I'm going to be talking about. So I have been selling on Amazon for 6 months now, and still doing 20K a month. I've done 20K the past 3 months in a row. The month before that was 18K, I think, or around 20K, 15K, 8K, and around $1,700 the first month or whatever. So let's talk about it. Currently I do junk removal. Me and my business partner own a junk removal business, and we have been doing that for 2.5 years. We started that unofficially in October of 2022. Yeah, the end of 2022. Jumped into it. Didn't even have a truck to pull the trailer. Went and got a trailer with no money down. Used the company I was working for let me borrow the truck to go and pick up the trailer, and then we would just use U-Hauls to fucking do the jobs when they would come up. And then officially we got an LLC January of 2023 on the 18th, I think. We've been doing that for 2.5 years. The first 1.5 years was an incredible struggle. Junk removal can make you a lot of money. Every area is different though, and every area requires different forms of marketing. And if I knew what I knew now, we would have been much more successful in the beginning, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. If that was the case, maybe I wouldn't have found Amazon. And so I've sold on Amazon 2 other times in the past. And I gave up both times. A lot of the things in my life, I've had shiny object syndrome. I've jumped ship whether I was burnt out or was just miserable or didn't see the future in what I was doing, I quit. And this right there is a lesson. Don't fucking quit. Because if I wouldn't have quit the first 2 times on Amazon, or the lawn care business that I had, or some of the other things that I attempted to do, like flipping cars, starting my own clothing brand, all this different stuff. But again, everybody has their own path. But if I wouldn't have quit those things, I guarantee I would have seen success a lot sooner. Now, what's different about Amazon this time? This time, I was looking for a way out of junk removal, because junk removal for me is not what I want to do long term. To scale, you do have to have a lot of debt you take on. You have a lot more liability with employees, not only paying them, but claims for workers' comp and damages with employees, insurance with driving trucks, all this extra stuff, not to include your regular daily expenses for running your business, and anything random that can come up that does happen, like blowing a tire or fucking breaking your dump trailer door, because we've done that too. Shit happens when you're doing this industry. Breaking a customer's window. We've never done that, but I've seen people that have done it. Shit happens. And all of that shit can't happen with Amazon. I'm not going to customers' houses. I'm not answering calls. I don't need leads. But anyways, I've been looking for a way out of junk removal. And then this opportunity of Amazon presents itself. My homie right down the road knows somebody, has a friend that has a record store. That person with a record store had a storage unit that they bought. I don't know how they came up into it, but they bought a storage unit for 40 of, not four, they bought a storage unit of 44,000 DVDs. Fucking 44,000 DVDs, bro. That's obviously a shit ton of DVDs. And so his buddy asks him if he wants to try to sell them on Amazon. He's never sold on Amazon. He decides to give it a go, gets it going. 3 months later, he is already hitting 15, 20K a month as well, or around 10 to 15K a month in revenue, not profit, in revenue. And so he hits me up and he's like, yo, I got 2 boxes, or it was closer to $1 per DVD, but it was like, yo, I got like 100-ish DVDs, maybe a little bit more for $100 if you want them, and do you want to start this? I'd set up my Amazon account already when he started, but I hadn't paid the subscription, and I said, fuck it. I pulled the trigger. I didn't think about it. I paid him the $100, got the DVDs. Wasn't even able to sell the DVDs yet, because there are, if you are familiar with Amazon, or if you're not, there's certain products that you can get instantly ungated in, so you can sell right away. There are products that are restricted in, that you just cannot even apply an application to try to sell. You may get ungated by that brand in the future for that product, just from having a strong seller account. I'm not completely sure about that, but restricted basically means you can't sell that product. Requires approval means you have to have an invoice from a distributor that can verify that you're buying legitimate products of that product, and then you can sell underneath that brand as well. And so I jumped in, spent the $100 on 120 DVDs, whatever the fuck, and started the process. Had to pay my subscription for Amazon. Had to order all my supplies, probably around $250. Already have a laptop and computer. If you don't have that, you're looking around $600-700 for a decent setup. Luckily, I already had that. That's pretty much a necessity for any business ever. And then I'd spent, by the time that I actually started, because a week had rolled around and I'd ordered my invoice, but I couldn't actually list any DVDs yet. And so I'd already bought another 100 DVDs or so. So I had about 4 boxes of DVDs, 5 boxes, something like that. Or yeah, about 4 boxes. And I'd ordered my invoice, and that was from Christian Bookstore. I'll make a video on that too, because people have been asking me. So ordered my invoice off Christian Bookstore. Then I had to play the waiting game because I was still on a budget. The main reason we wanted to get out of junk removal is because now that we, don't need the junk removal money necessarily, jobs are coming in so consistent, it's crazy. And we do this part-time now. But just 6 months ago, even to 6 months to a year, we needed the income from junk removal. And so it was very stressful. And so it's like I've been wanting a way out, because I've always wanted to make this online money. And I've also, I want to work hard, on my muscles. I want to be sore that way, or having fun skateboarding, dirt biking, just fun shit. I don't want to be doing hard labor work that after a certain point of the day, it's impossible to lift properly or have proper form. And even some of the shit you have to do anything and everything to try to make shit happen sometimes with hard labor work, with landscaping and junk removal and moving and just the crazy shit you come across. You just would not believe how hard some of this shit can be if you've never done it. If you have, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And so, I don't want to keep doing this forever, and I don't want to have to take on the stress of the debt to make it a big company, to grow it with marketing and advertising, to keep, scheduling and answering calls and equipment and employees. It's not what I want. I want a simplified business. And Amazon, I think God put it into my life at the perfect time. Amazon came into my life, I started it, and so about a month went by before I could really so I started officially on November 17th of signing up for my account on November 17th of 2024. And right before that is, or right around that time is Thanksgiving. So ended up going home to West Virginia for Thanksgiving. And Wasn't able to get a box in. I was trying to, but the invoice didn't come in, and like I said, I was on a budget, so I didn't pay for overnight. So now I'm waiting for supplies to come in. Those come in. Now I'm waiting for the invoice, so I can actually get ungated. That comes in, and then probably a few days after being back from Christmas or from Thanksgiving, I send in my first box. Get that done, boom. And then from there, it's a race to, it's, I don't even know the word, but it's the start of the race. So from when I started sending in officially in December to the end of the month, I think I sent in around 13 boxes or something like that, or 17 boxes, something dope, because I was like really on it. And so I started sending my first boxes in. I officially started November 17th. I didn't get my first box in until about 2.5, 3 weeks later. I got my first sale on December 17th for, $10, $13, whatever the fuck, $17, doesn't matter. And then every day after December 17th to today, I have received sales every single day. Now doing 20K plus a month, I do around anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a day on average. I know that's a big gap, but if you want me to wiggle it down more, probably 600 to 800. Like yesterday, I did just over 800 in sales, and again, that's revenue, not profit. But with 30 to 50% profit margins on DVDs, if you sell $800, or let's do 600 for easy math, 200 of that is profit and will be money that you make per day. And then, if you're on 50%, that would be 300. And so you can see as you start scaling this and start getting, you don't worry about money in the beginning, you worry about getting inventory sent in, and you worry about hitting certain revenue sales numbers. And once you know that you get to those numbers at the gross point, you're going to know what you're netting on average, and that's how you're going to know that you're going to be able to survive off this shit. So the first month, I did $1,700 in sales in like a 14 day period from December 17th to the end of the month. The next month is when I ended up doing and we're only going to the 4-month mark, like I said at the beginning. I've done this 6 months now. We're only explaining the first 4 months. Later on will be another video. Second month, did about 5,000 in sales, and that was still me getting cooking, getting rolling. But that month, and my first payment too, so it's cool to see your first payment. It takes from the day you get your first sale, if you're on Amazon FBA, which means fulfilled by Amazon, you ship it into Amazon. It can take 1 to 2 weeks to get to Amazon and to be fully received, to then it's able to be purchased. Then, however long it takes for someone to buy that product, and then once someone buys that product, it can take a week to 2 weeks for that one order to settle. When the order settles is when you get paid by Amazon. So it is a rolling thing. So you wait about a month to even start getting paid, but then once you do, you can pay yourself through Amazon every single day. And if you stop selling on Amazon, you're going to still have all of these products listed on Amazon's warehouse that can still continue to make you money if you decide that you're going to quit. And until you're making less than $50 a month to cover your costs of your software, then you can keep it going until that point. But anyways, so the first month I made nothing, but I did do $1,700 in sales. It was cool. And that was like the proof of concept, and that was just in 13 days. Second month, I did 5K, and my first payment I got to pay myself was literally like $13, $11, something so small, but it was cool to finally press pay me and like actually have money come back to me for the first time. So the first month I did 5K in revenue, and I actually brought back in about $1,000 after money settling and everything. The second month, I ended up doing about 8K, and that's when some of the profits finally start adding up from the first, half of a month or whatever, the first real month of January, and now we're in February. So now all that's starting to compound. And so now come February, I end up doing 15,000. So I go from 5K to 8K to $15,000 in revenue. And so the 15,000, that month I was able to pay myself about 4K. Again, because I was still sending in so much. I'm still early. I'm not technically bringing in the 30 to 50% yet, because I'm still front loading. I'm still pushing up so much inventory. And at this point, to date, at 6 months in, just over 6 months, I have, or just under 6 months, I mean, I have sent in, or yeah, just over 6 months, I have sent in over 13,000, almost 14,000 DVDs, and that is 172 boxes, I think, because I'm keeping track in the spreadsheet. So I've sent in a shit ton of boxes. So by the third month, second month, whatever, yeah, by the third month, 8K or 15K, I am, okay, sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked now. Okay, first month, December, 1,700, second month, 5K, third month, 8K, fourth month, technically 15K, and the fifth month is where I actually hit 20K. The reason I say 0 to 20K in 4 months is because December, where it was a short month and was only 13 days, I call that the warm-up season. I don't consider December a part of my actual selling journey, even though I did get my first sale on December 17th. So the month I did 15K in sales is March, and I pay myself about $3,500 at the end of it. In junk removal, after 2.5 years, we're only paying each other, because it's me and my business partner, we're paying each other around $2,600 a month each. So together, that's $5,200 a month that we're paying in total, but each of us is getting about $2,600 a month. So not a lot of money, and we're putting in a lot of fucking work. And now in just 3 months, 4 technically, but in about 3 months, now I'm paying myself from January to March. Come March, in 3 months, I have now paid myself and actually into my bank account $3,500, which is $900 more than the $2,600 we pay ourselves from junk removal. Plus, I still was able to pay myself from junk removal, but along the way. But at that 3rd month mark, it's pretty much when I personally stopped taking money from the business to, help the business stack more money for junk removal. But also, if we ever came into a need, or if we need extra money for taxes, whatever, I don't necessarily need that money, so I'm not going to take any from the business. And so at that point, March is, and now it's June, at March is when I stopped paying myself in junk removal. And even though I'm still doing junk removal jobs, and I might take some cash here and there, I have been fully self-sufficient on Amazon since then, and I'm beyond grateful. I cannot thank God enough for the opportunity and the blessing, but it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have jumped on and took action. And then we go into April, and what happens April? All the first 3 months compound. I continue to keep sending in, and we had, I think it was actually around 18K in March, but we're just gonna say 15K. But April comes, and we hit about 21, 22K. It's on my Instagram if you wanna check it out and find it somewhere. Did about 20 to 21, or 21 to 22K or whatever. And that's global too. One cool thing about selling on Amazon is you can sell across the whole globe. I'm only doing Canada, US, and Mexico, US being the biggest market, obviously, with what I'm selling. But I make an extra, $2,000 in gross revenue per month from selling in Canada and Mexico, which adds up. And that's how maybe US, I only made 18 or 19K, but then global, I'm making 21, 22K in sales. And at that point, I am bringing in that 30%, or that, and close to that, 30 to 50% range, because all of those first 3 months are now stacking up, and I've continued to send in boxes. Here's the biggest thing. You can't stop fucking sending in packages, okay? In order for this to work, you have to stay consistent, even if that just means buying, you start doing wholesale, and you find some winning products and you do a few runs of those per month. But regardless, in order to keep this money flowing, you have to build a system, and you have to keep this going. You can't just hit 20K a month and send in, the 14 or 13,000 DVDs I've sent in, and then just quit for the rest of the year and expect to still make good money. It's not going to happen. So you have to stay consistent. But last month, which was my 5th month, and so I can talk about it. April was a busy month. We had some big jobs for junk removal and went home for Easter. So that took probably at least a week and a half out of actually being able to send in boxes. And so I didn't get in as many. And so May, I felt the dip. And so I hit 22K in April. May hit about 18K, just under the 20K mark. And then this month, June, already back on track to hit 22 to 23K. And that's because in April, I wasn't able to keep sending in as many boxes because I had some shit come up. And I felt that 1 month later. So it takes time to see the drop in sales. Because for the rest of April, shit was booming because I had still sent in so many boxes front loading. But then all those missed days added up in April or in May, and I had to do big catch up to really get back, on track. And so in May, I sent in about 35 boxes. But to end this video, that is how I went from 0 to 20K per month in 4 months selling DVDs on Amazon. You buy them in bulk, and my connection, like I said, had 44,000. He's down to less than 100 boxes left. So that connection is running out. How can you do this? 1, set up your Amazon seller account. 2, look up how to get ungated on DVDs. Watch a video from this guy, I can't remember his name. Maybe I'll have one up by the time you see this. And it walks you through the process of ordering your DVDs from Christian Bookstore. You cannot do this step until you have actually been fully approved through Amazon and can actually pay your $39.99 per month which takes about 3 to 5 days to be approved by Amazon. And then you can pay your subscription, then you can order your invoice, then you can start this process. How can you get DVDs? I use Scout IQ in general to determine pricing for my DVDs. You can get Scout IQ, which is $14 a month. Go to thrift stores of all types, or cheap dollar stores and shit like that. You can start scanning DVDs and books, and obviously enter in your cost basis, and you're just looking for a spread. That's a slower way to do it. You can run into some gyms, and it is a lower cost method, but it can take you a lot longer. What I recommend, or what I have been doing, I don't recommend, this is what I have personally done, so do with it as you wish, not financial advice, is going on Facebook Marketplace, and you're looking for bulk DVDs. Then what you're going to do is, once you find a shit ton of bulk DVDs, you're basically lowballing people. You're looking to pay less than 30 cents per DVD. You're buying these sight unseen. You're not going to go there and scan 1,000 DVDs before you buy them. If they have 1,000, their goal is to get them for $300 or less. The lower you can get them, the more profit you're going to make, because especially when you're buying used DVDs, at least 25% minimum, upwards of 50%, maybe even upwards of 60% are going to be trash. So this is why you need to get them as cheap as possible. But with the quantity and the amount that you send in, this is where you're going to make back it's all going to turn into profit, because the ones that are winners are going to not only make profit on your original buy cost, but it's going to cover the cost for hundreds of other DVDs that were trash. And once you start really sending in the volume game, like I said, I've sent in 13,000. I sell DVDs every day from $6 upwards of $50, and then I have random ones sprinkled in that are $75 or $100. I mean, I've literally sold DVDs that I paid 75 cents for, all in, after shipping to Amazon. So I paid 20-30 cents. After all my costs and me shipping it to Amazon, and now Amazon has it, I'm 75-80 cents in, and then I sell that DVD for $50, $100. The ROI on that is fucking out of this world. It's harder to scale, but it can really get you out the trenches, really change your life quick. And the faster that you do this, the quicker that you're willing to put in the effort and the work, the sooner this is going to happen. Like I said, it took me 4 months to go from 0 to 20K. 5 months technically, if you want to include the month prior. of testing and the pre-work of getting everything set up and ready. And so you're gonna be on Facebook Marketplace, scouring for deals, looking, for thousands and hundreds of DVDs, and you're gonna be getting them for as low as possible, even if you have to drive an hour here, drive an hour there. You're looking all around your state, trying to find the best deals on DVDs and buying as many as you can. What else can you do? You can call thrift stores directly around your state, get a hold of the manager, tell them that you're wanting to buy DVDs in bulk, like, at a very cheap rate, but you're willing to buy all of them sight unseen. What type of deal can you work out? I have a buddy that lives in Ocala, about 40 minutes from me. He called a thrift store. He got 3,200 DVDs for $400. 3,200 DVDs for $400. And so it's fucking possible. And that was his first purchase order or first find of DVDs. What else can you do? Go to Google, type in bulk DVDs or pallets of DVDs, and you can easily find a few different brands and companies that literally sell pallets, otherwise known as a Gaylord, of DVDs. These pallets can hold anywhere from 1,200 up to 2,000 DVDs. Some pallets will be mixed media. They might be VHS, video game, DVD, CD. Other ones are going to be just DVD. That's for you to decide what you want to actually, purchase. But those are your main options. Go to thrift stores one by one, finding your profit. Go on Facebook Marketplace, look for bulk deals. Even go into garage sales and shit like that. And when you find a ton of books or DVDs, give them a bulk price for all of them, cheap. Again, you're wanting to stay between 20 to 30 cents or less, of course, like under 30 cents or less with DVDs. Books, 15 to 10 cents, because a lot more books are more useless and worth less money or negative money doing FBA than DVDs. Mainly because of the size, the weight, the difference in sizes and thickness, etc. Third option, call those thrift stores, talk to them about buying in bulk, that you're wanting to buy out a big lot of DVDs and you're looking to get them at this amount of price or whatever the fuck, and work out a deal to where you're both winning. They're offloading tons of inventory that's not selling or that they don't have to worry about selling. You're getting a shit ton of inventory to start your new Amazon business. And number 4 is pallets of DVDs. Searching Google for pallets of DVDs, or even pallets of boxes of DVDs that come pre-boxed in small boxes. Companies offer both of these, and you order these, get them shipped through freight delivery, have it delivered at your house or a loading dock, depending if you're already in business or not, and then you start your fucking process from there. So that is how you can start your Amazon journey. I cannot guarantee your success. I cannot guarantee your journey will be like mine, because everybody's life is different. People have done Amazon and succeeded way faster than me. People have started Amazon and succeeded way slower than me. And this is my 3rd time doing Amazon. As I've said, I have never seen as much progress in any of the first 2 times compared to this 3rd time, even within the first 3 months, because I really committed and made this shit something that I was going to make happen, because this was my way out of junk removal, and this is going to continue to be my way out of junk removal. And soon I'll be getting into wholesale and really taking the shit to the next level, to the big boy status. And fuck 20K a month. I want to see 50K, 100K months. And I want to get to the point where I'm doing 200K a month and doing 50, 100K in profit per month, where I can keep that shit. And so that's how I started. That's some tips how you can start. Do with this information as you wish. I cannot force you to put in the work or do anything. You have to be determined to make your life great and be successful. And so with that, I'm going to leave you with this opportunity. This is what fucking I did. And I'm 6 months in now, still doing 20K a month, ready to take this shit to the next level. And you can too. So that's how I went from 0 to 20K per month on Amazon, selling DVDs through Amazon FBA. Let's go.